again, on behalf of the Committee of the Distance Learning at the College of Social Sciences, I would like to thank everyone for attending today's workshop. Today's workshop, we will go through basic features of Microsoft Teams. I'm sure many of you have already learned and looked into the software. It's a learning experience, and in today's session, our focus is to cover the basic functions of Microsoft Teams. So we will not go into details or maybe more advanced features. We are keeping this for advanced sessions that we will be have in the future. Let me first also mention how it's gonna go in terms of the lessons. You have the Q&A section. You should have this appeared in your screen, whether you're joining from your mobile or you using your computer. You can ask your questions at any times, but we will answer this question and look at this question at the end. So during the session, we'll try to cover the topics that we have. And then if you have any questions, you can type in your question and send it to me. We will look into these questions and we will leave all the questions to the end of the sessions. So with this, and also during the session, the screen might black out, stay connected. This will happen if I sometimes when I switch from one screen or from one software to another. So if I'm going to switch to Microsoft Teams or maybe go to the browser, sometimes the screen will black out. We will connect here, and I'll try to connect as fast as I can. So with this, let's start. I'm going to share the Microsoft Teams main page, and then we will start from there. So let me start with the Microsoft Teams. Okay. So I think that you now you can see the Chrome browser. So to go to the and the way I'm going to explain it, I'm going to use the Microsoft Teams web browser's version, since I'm using the application, the downloaded applications to do this live stream. So I'll be conducting the demonstration or the workshop using the web. So basically, we will go to the main page of Teams, which is teamsmicrosoft.com. That's the main page of Microsoft Teams. And with that, I will be able to access into my team account. The way to do that, you have to enter your university's email, which ends with which is under the domain of ku.edu.kw. So you enter that, and then you sign in with your password, and this will give you access. Okay, this will ask me to save my password. We don't want to do that. And now we will get access to the main page of Microsoft Teams. Now, if you have already established Teams in your account, you will see these teams appear on the main page. But however, if you haven't started any teams, this is how it should look like. You will have two choices on your main screen. One of them is to create a team. The other one is to join a team. We will look into these first. Let's move on to our agenda. The first topic is how to change the language of the interface. And this is basically, as you can see in my interface now, the main menus and all the part on this screen is in English. If I want to change it in Arabic, I would be able to do that. Microsoft support Arabic language. The way to do that is to go and click on your icon, on your picture icon, and then you go to setting, and then from here you can see there's the option of choosing the language. So app language determines if you want to change the interface into Arabic, if you are more comfortable using the Arabic version, you just look for the Arabic interface, the Arabic language. Should be down there somewhere. That's it, we passed it here. So if I choose the Arabic version, the whole interface of the system will be changed into Arabic. So I'm not going to do that. I'm more comfortable using the English version, but this is a way of changing the interface. Also, even the theme of the system on the layout, you could also play with that to see which layout or which theme is better for you. So this is the first thing, is how to change if you want to change the language of the interface. Then the second topic, or the second part, let's talk about notification. Notifications are important, especially that if you want to be informed about when students send us something, or if we are mentioned by someone. If you want to turn the notifications on, if you want to look into the notifications, it's at the same page of the setting page. Go click on the notification icon, and then you could decide. You have all these different options for notifications. Part of them related to mentions. If someone mentions you mention your email. So if you want to get an email notification, or you want to get the notification only within the program, or while you're working on Teams, or if you want to show it only in feed. Now feed, that's the activity part. I'll talk about this later, where we can find feed. So this is basically about the personal notification. If someone mentioned your personal account or use your email. Also, if someone mentioned a specific channel within your teams, or if someone mentioned a team, which can be a class, one of your classes. So you can decide what type of notification you want to receive. The same with messages. This is also related to chat, replies that you have of conversation you started, replies to conversation that you are part of, likes and reactions. So it depends on you, whatever types of setting that fits you. You can choose the notifications that you would like to receive from the system from this window here. So the main notification, the banners means that notifications are going to be within the program. And here and at the corner of the screen, you can see that I have already received the program suggesting for me to turn up the desktop notification. So if I turn it up now, if any notifications comes through the system, I'll be able to access it, or I'll be able to see it in Microsoft Teams, the app. So this is basically a way for you to turn in or to set up your notification, to make sure that you receive the notifications and that you're not being kept on the dark when someone sends you a message or try to contact you. So this is basically the first two things that I want to share with you. Now let's go back to the main screen and look at it. Now, if you notice, the main screen of Teams is kind of divided into two parts. The first part is the buttons on the left side. These buttons on the left side, which have Teams, chat, calls, assignment, calendar, files, and activities. And there's even more. You could add more apps into this buttons. And then you have the help and a button to download the application in your device if you haven't done so. So as I said, I'm currently using the web version of Microsoft Teams, but you could, if you're using, if you have a Windows-based system or a MacBook, for example, Apple-based system, you could download the application on your computer, and the link to download is at the bottom here. Now there's advantages of downloading Microsoft Teams. There are some extra features available in the downloaded version that are not available in the web version. One of them is live streaming. The only reason that I'm being able to do a live stream today is because I'm using the downloaded version of Microsoft Teams. In the online version or the web version of Microsoft Teams, they don't have this feature. Another feature is related to the live streaming, or if you want to present, is to change the background to have a background effect behind you, so you wouldn't, if you don't want to show the background from your own room or the place that you are presenting from, you could use the background effect from the downloaded version only from Microsoft Teams. You will not be able to do a background effect on the web version. And there are other features as well. So the downloaded version for the downloaded program of Microsoft Teams have extra features than the web version. But currently I'm using the web version, as I said, because I'm already using the download version to do the streaming, the live streaming for you. Okay, so let's go back now to the main page. So as I said, the first part or the first section is these buttons on the left, and the dots on the top. These are the main menu from Microsoft. So if you want to look at the other applications of Microsoft, you can click on these dots on the top, and it will show you the other applications, the other programs of Microsoft. So if you want to go to Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, SharePoint, OneDrive, you can access them directly through this main menu. So the 9 dots on the top, this is basically the main menu of Microsoft. And if you want to see the other applications of Office 365, which we have free as part of the university's package, just click on the Office 365 and it will show you all the applications. We are not going to look into that, as our focus now is on Microsoft Teams. So how do we create a class? Teams basically is a tool or program that helps you to create virtual teams. This is basically, and the plan is to use it to create virtual classrooms, and each class would be represented at Teams. Now, as I've mentioned before, if you have already created teams, you will have, when you open the program, you will have a look at your own teams that have been created in the past. If you want to create a new one, just go on the top right and then click on the join or create teams, and it will take you to this screen. Now, if you haven't created teams before or you're not part of any team, this is the main screen that you will that will appear for you, just as a help for you to create your first team or to join a team. So if you want to create a team for our class as faculties for our classes, just click on create team. Okay, and then you could choose even the type of team that you want to create. So in our case, most of us, we want to create classes, so we'll just create classes. And this is basically because based on each type of these teams, there will be presets or included apps within these teams or features. There will be these teams will be ready with certain features that would help the cause or the type of each group. So we will create a classroom. It will ask us to name the class. Now, I would recommend to add the year and the semester for each class that you want to create. As I said, if we're going to use this for in the future, I don't want to just create a team with that class name. It would be better to create the year. So in this way, I would be able to distinguish between different classes that have been created for different students from different semesters. For example, I would write, for example, 220 spring, for example, just short for spring, 141 information society, ومعلومات مجتمع society. Here I could add more descriptions as optional. I'm not going to do that for the time being, and then just click next. Now it would ask you to include the student's name at this point, but since for the time being, students are not being added automatically to this program, unlike Blackboard. But we've been hearing that it will be done in the future. So at this point, you could either add the students by finding their emails. If you know the student's email address, the KU emails, you would be able to add them manually, but I think it would take a long time because you have to add each one individually. Now, if you have other faculty member that would help you to run this class, you could add their names directly from from here. So if I have a TA, if I have another faculty that I want to add, I could just search for their names. And since this is part of the Kuwait University, so all of this faculty members should be included here. So if I said, for example, يعني we'll say مثل الأستاذة حياة الياقوت مثلا. So I'm just writing them. I would be able to see the names of the faculties, and I just click the name of that person. That person would be added to my team as a co-teacher or as a TA in my team. So this is a way to add another faculty member into the team. Okay, since I'm not going to add students or teachers, I'm going to skip this step. And then, as you can see, my team has already created now. Now I'm going to go back to the main page of Teams. If I go back and click on Teams, I would find that my new team has already been created now for me here. So this is, for example, for my 2020 Spring 141. I could add the section number as well, Information Society. Now, when I click on the team, when I click in at this page, you can see that the program is suggesting or helping you to upload your class materials or to help and find training if you want to learn how to use some of the features related to creating classrooms in Teams. Now, but let's look into these different sections first in Teams and see. First of all, let's look into this area. Now we have an additional area that's included into our screen. This white area under the name. This is where you can create your channels. Now the way Teams is organized in Microsoft is that within each class or within each Teams, you can have smaller groups or smaller sections, and these are called channels. So if you want to divide your class into different groups, either based on times or based on, for example, like first quarter, second quarter, or first half of the year, second half of the year, or you can create groups for different groups of students, for example. You could do that as well within channels. So we could create channels under Teams, and if you can see, if we click on the three dots next to the class name or the team name, I have the add channel option. Now the main channel each team created comes with a general channel. This is where everyone will have access to it. Now when I add a channel, I could specify, so I'm going to call, so this is, I'm creating another channel within the team, another group. So I'm going to call it draft, for example. Okay, this is basically, it's a channel where I can add some materials. I have some files in which I don't want to share directly with the students. So it's, for me, the way I was thinking about it, it's like a preparation area for my class. So I can test things, I can try things, and I can specify that this channel can be private. Now I could add some descriptions about this channel and why I'm creating this channel. And I could specify whether everyone can have access to this channel or if I can make this channel as private. So only specific group of people within the teams can be assigned or can access this channel. For me, I'm going to create this channel, for example, only for myself, so no students would be able to do that. If I want to create another channel for a specific group of students, maybe they're working on a certain project, I could do that as well. So click next. And then again, similar to the way we created teams, I could add student or I could add faculty members as well to join me in this channel. I'm going to skip this step. And as you can see now, I have two channels. I have general channels and I have draft channel. I'm just calling it draft, just in case if I want to share something or want to add something to this class, but I don't want the students to look at it or to be able to have access to it. So this is a private channel in which nobody can access whatever is mentioned here unless I give them access to do that. So let's go back to the general channel. And as you can see, so this is, as I mentioned, this is the part where we can add as many channels as we want. Now, this is the main area in which we work for teams. And as you can see, I have different tabs on the top. Post is basically the main forum where all students can discuss, share ideas, discuss topics, share files, show announcement, post announcement from by the faculty. This is basically where the everything, and we could do that if you. I'm currently clicking on the post tab. If you can see at the bottom of the screen, I could type anything here. Welcome to class, for example. You can just post it to class and it will appear. Now, if I want to post, there are different ways or different things I could do with post. I could do it even much better. This is a very simple way to post, just like a text, like in a form, but I could have some formatting related to post. So instead of typing directly, let me show you again what I did. I'm going to click on the format button under the space or the area where we can post, and click format, and it will show a better way to post your messages. Now, this is a new conversation, so this is a new post. If you want to make it as an announcement, you can click on this drop menu here and choose it as an announcement, and you could have like a better way. Welcome to class. And you could add whatever instructions or details or information that you want to send to the students. You could use the formatting tools. You could highlight, for example, let me write again, welcome to class, and just show you how I could, for example, highlight. So I highlight this and then choose, oops, it didn't work. I need to highlight this and then it's not working. I don't know why, but we should be able to highlight or at least change, make it bold. Well, actually, yeah, because this is a subheading, this is subtitle. Let's write it again. Yeah, it's here. So welcome. This is the text where we could do all the formatting. Welcome to this class. Okay. I could add links, I could add codes, whatever. I could add images. I could do all possible. Now, if a message is important, and I could even specify if I would allow others to reply to this message, or only the moderators, me and the other to respond to these messages. And if I want to post it even to multiple channels, if I want to send the same message but to different classes, I could do that as well. I could change the background. So I could choose something that already exists. Classes, for example, and I could choose whatever background. Done. Okay, now if this is an important message, oops, I clicked on the, okay, so, and then here, yes, so if this is an important announcement, in the extra and the 3-dot menus, I could just click on mark as important, and now this message would brought, and then I'll send it. And now you can see the difference between the first message, the first announcement that was sent, and the next one, the second announcement, which is kind of more, it has more formatting features. Okay, so moving on. So this is basically the first part, which is related to the post, and students could post, student could reply to your announcement. So if a student could reply, and you could reply as well to them. So I could just say thank you. You could add emojis, you could add files, you could insert many things. You could add many things in this. Now, in notification, as I mentioned, when you work on the setting the notifications, You could also work with the notification or change the setting of notification within these posts. If you highlight any of the posts, you can see there is a site kind of a feedback menu, like for someone if you want to give a thumbs up, for example, to a post, or a happy face, a sad face, angry face, whatever. But you could also, if you click on the menu, you could turn off the notification of that post. So if there's, for example, a kind of a conversation in which a lot of students may be discussing, but you don't want to get a notification for every time a student reply to that post, you could just turn off the notification of that post, and it will be turned off. So this is another place to change to work with your notifications. So this is the first part. The next part in your channel, or the next tab, is files, and this is where you could upload all of your class materials. So in files, when you click on it, it will open. Now this is, you already have a folder called class materials. If you click on it, it's empty now, but we could create subfolders, for example. So I'm going to create a subfolder that's called slides, for example. Okay, so I've created a subfolder. Let's create another subfolder called readings. And under slide, for example, if I want to upload some files, I'll just click on upload, and it will open my the files on my computer. That it could just upload any of the files, and all of these files will students will have access to them. So these are the files that you want to share for the student: your syllabus, your slides, your readings, materials, whatever. You could just upload. If you want to send a link of a certain folder, so currently we are under the slide folder. Well, let me go here. If I want to send the link of the slides folder to a student, for example, so they can have an access to that file, I could highlight it and then click on, where is it? It should be, actually no, I don't have to highlight it. I've just copied the link. So this is basically for the class material. I'll copy the link, and this is basically the link to the class materials folder, and they could send it to the student. I don't have to highlight it. Similarly, if I want to send this folder to a student, I just copy the link. Now, if I want to download certain files into my computer, I just highlight the file and then download it into my computer. So this is basically the place or the area in which you could upload your files and class materials for the students. I want to just quickly check to see the list of topics that we have. Okay. Yeah, I skipped one topic, is about how to find the code. And okay, so we talked about creating the classes, how to add files and folders. Let me show you how to add a folder. So add a file, upload a file. So if I click on file, this is basically, as I mentioned, it's where you could find whatever folders you want to have, and then just add into your. So if I want to add, for example, this folder, it's already added. That's a PowerPoint, for example, folder. Just to show you how to do that. Okay, but I skipped one topic which is related to about how to find the link or the code to send to the students. Now, after creating our classes, so now after I created my class, I would be interested in knowing how would I ask the student to join into this class. So there's two ways: either to send them a link, they can click it and they can join into the class, or you can send them a code and they could enter it. For example, when they go into their Google Meet account, they will just enter the code at that place, and then they will join the team. They will be a part of the team. So where do we find the code or the link? When you click on when you go back to the main team page, click on the main menu of teams, and then click on manage teams. Well, first, the link is already here. So when I click on the menu, get link to the team. So if I click on this is basically the link. If I send this link to the students, they'll click on that link and they'll be able to join the team. So this is basically the link option. The code option, which I prefer, which I personally prefer, is to send. Go to the menu, manage team, and then we'll go to setting, and there are many things, many features are here, but this is the part. It's the team code. So I'll click on team code, and then I will ask the program to generate a team code for this class. So I click on generate, and this would be the code that I could send to the students. If I want to show, we're not going to be able to do that, but if I'm going to show this in class, that I could show a full screen of that code, and then when student enter this code into their account, in their Microsoft Teams account, they will join the class. They will be part of the class. Now, at this page as well, I could look into the members as well. So if I have students or faculty, they should all appear in this area. So I would be able to see all the students who joined the class, and I would be able in control of adding more. If I want to add someone by email, or if someone has been added by mistake, I could turn them out from the class. So this is all related to the same topic. Okay. So channels, we have also channels. I just want to look at this. This is basically about the channels and the activity that will go into channel. I'm not going to look into more details about the settings of the teams, but this is basically the two options of adding students into your class. You could either send them the code. It's under setting. Let's go back to setting. You could simply send them the code, or you could send them the link, which is get link to team. That's the link. This is two ways of adding students to the adding student to the class. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic now. So we covered how to add class materials, how we add students as well, and we know how to create the main class. Now, how do I set up a time for the lecture? If I want to have an online, a virtual class, a virtual lecture, this is basically we could do from this page. So when I enter the team at post, you can see at the option, one of the options that you can create from the icons or the buttons at the bottom is a camera button. If you click on it, it will, okay, if I click on it, it will ask you to use your microphone, select, allow. Okay, I did. Okay, so it will turn the screen on and the mic, and you will have two options, whether to start the meeting right now, immediately. So this is something you want to do if you want to start a meeting immediately with the student, or you could schedule a meeting for a later time. And this is maybe would be useful if you want to set up the time for your class. And everyone in the classroom here will be able to find the link, and they would know that whenever they want to come and attend the class, they will just click on that link, and then they will join the class. Okay, so let's schedule a meeting. So when I click schedule a meeting, I could just type in 141 online lessons, for example, online classes. Now, I don't have to add the required attendees or optional attendees, because this will be the link of this meeting will be posted within the team. Now I could set up the date and time. So for example, my class is every Monday and Tuesday. So I'm gonna start with Monday. For example, it's gonna be at 10 maybe in the morning. So Monday at 10 in the morning, 10 a.m. and it will end maybe at 11:15. So I could change this 11:15 a.m. Okay, and now if I could, and this is just simply with the general feature in many of the calendars, I could just simply repeat this event based on the times and until the end of the semester. So this event will repeat itself. I don't have to enter every time I have a session or lesson. I come in here and enter this that lesson individually. So I could do that from the beginning using from the first class until the end. So I'll go to custom because I know this event will be repeated. And then, for example, I will say this event will be repeated every week on Monday and Wednesday. And I could choose which day, what is the last day of school in which this event should stop. So if we're going to continue until, for example, for 2 or 3 weeks, it depends on how long our semester is, I'll just click on that day. So I'm going to leave it only for 2 weeks. So I'm going to leave it, for example, let's say the last day of school is the 18th of June. So I'm going to click the 18th of June. So this event will be repeated on my calendar every Monday and Wednesday until June 18, which is maybe the last school day. And they click save. Okay. I don't have to enter any locations or anything. And then here it is already specified at which channel this event will take place. So it's related to the information society class at the general channel, so everyone will receive it. And here I could add some details if I want to, and then I'll just send that event. Okay, so let's turn this one off. And as you can see in the screen at the post, this event has already been created now. And it says, so this is basically when I will have my lessons. Now, another way I could do is for this one is to, because it's an important post, so I could just pin, I think there's somewhere to pin this post to make sure. I'm just trying to save this message. No, maybe it doesn't work for this, but at least this post now would be available for the students. And not only that, it will be added to the calendar. So this post will be added to the calendar. So if I go to the calendar at the buttons here, if I click on calendar, I should be able to see, because I've been trying this features before. So you can see that this event, this is the one I've created, and then it's repeated on this day. And then if we go to the following week, we should be also to see that event and then repeat it again until the end day, which we had on the 18th. So if we go to the following week, there's nothing here because we specified the end day. And now even from the calendar, whenever I click on the event in the calendar, and the event details would open the calendar, I have the join button here. And the student will have the same thing. So every time the events will be added in their calendar, and if they click on the events in their calendar, they should find the join button and they will be able to join in to the class. And that would be a way to schedule your virtual classes. Now let's go back to Teams, to the main page again. And let's see now, let's say for example, let's now go into the class and sign in into this lesson. We're going to join. We're going to look and see how we can start the lesson, how we can record it, and how I can share my screen with the students and chat with them and answer the questions, as well as one way maybe is to take their attendance during these live lessons. So for example, if it's now the time to attend the class, I will just go click on the event itself and click on join. And as you can see, the first thing it will check your mic. If you want to turn your mic on or off, you could do this. And then just to make sure that everything is set, and then just click on join now. And now, as you can see, I'm in the class. Now the main menu, whenever I move in the mouse to the bottom of the screen, I would have a menu that appears in the middle or at the bottom of my screen. Now there are many buttons in this menu. The first one is about the camera. So if you want to turn your camera off, just click on that and the camera will be off. The same thing, if you want to mute your microphone, just click on that. So it will be muted and then unmute, so it will show. Okay. The third button is to share. And we will talk about this now because we're going to demonstrate how you're going to share. But let me move on to the other buttons. Now, after that, we have more actions. So if you click on this button, you will see more actions that you could do while you're presenting your classes. The show device setting, this is basically related to the device that you're using to present your class. So it will show some settings related to what type of microphone, if you want to change the camera, if you want to change, if you're using a speaker. So it depends on what type of devices that you're going to use. Show meeting notes. This is a very important. This is, and we're gonna demonstrate how to use that. This is basically if you want at every meeting or at the end of every meeting to develop a notes for that meeting, for example, for the main ideas, main topics, whatever was covered in this meeting. So you could use show meeting notes into full screen, basically, so you can have a full screen of the meeting screen. Keypad, I'm not sure, to be honest, what this is for, but I'm assuming it's maybe to dial in for someone to join the meeting through the phone. Then we have the start recording. This is important because it might be useful for you whenever you have a lesson. So students who might have difficulties connecting or might have difficulties signing in because of problem with the internet or because of connecting problem, that you would record your meeting and then you would be able to share these recordings with their students. So if you want to record your meeting, just click on start recording and then a sign will appear and everyone in the room will have a copy of that recording. Okay, now end meeting. Now there's a big difference between end meeting, the one inside here in the menu or and this drop down menu or drop up menu, and the turn off the hang up screen, the one in red outside. The difference is that if I click on the hang up, the red one, it means I'll be leaving the meeting, but if other students or other people who are still in the room, they will still be in that meeting. So it's only me, I'm the only one who's leaving that meeting, but everyone, they can continue in the meeting room and they can discuss and talk and share whatever, doing everything without me because I'm the only one leaving. If I click end meeting, the one from inside, this will end the meeting for everyone. So if I click on this, everyone will be leaving the room. So whenever I leave, everyone will leave. So no further discussion, nothing else in the room will happen while I'm gone. Turn off incoming videos. This is useful, especially if there's a problem with the connections, if there's a heavy load. If a lot of students would use their videos or keep their videos on, for example, and that might cause some difficulty with the connection or changes the quality of the connections. So you could turn off all incoming videos. So in that case, you will not see any of the videos that any of the attendees have turned on. So this is also in terms of improving the quality of your session. So this is the main menu. The raise your hand. This is very useful for the students. If the students, if any of the students have a question in the class, they could raise their hand, and it will show. If I click, we have raise your hand, and then we have the show conversation and show participant. Show participant basically will show me whoever is attended in that meeting. So it's a list of attendees. All the peoples that will be in that meeting, I will have them listed here. Show conversation will show the chatting, anything that's happening, anything is, if anyone have a question, they could share it in this window. And they could even attach files, add emojis, whatever they could do. And you could monitor what's happening at this part. Raise hand basically is if any of the students, let me go back to participant. If any of the students have a question, they could raise their hand and it will show at your window here. If you have the people participant, it will show for you who's raising the hand, and any students will raise their hand, they will move up to the list so they will be visible. If you have a lot of students, you will be able to see who's raising their hands in your class. Okay, so this is basically about how to start the meeting. Okay, how do you share your screens or files from your computer? You click on the share button. It's the one here in the middle. You click on the share button. Oops. I keep double right clicking. Okay, so when I click the share button, as you can see, I have different options now. I have the whiteboard options here. So if I want to share a whiteboard and write something to the student, I could just click on this and then a white screen would appear and then I would be able to share and write something live, and we'll do that, demonstrate that. Or if you have already some PowerPoint files stored in Meet, in Microsoft Meet, maybe in other classes as well, you will see them here. It will bring, it's like a shortcut for you. Or if you have another file from your computer, just click on browse. So this will show you any file that you want to share, maybe PDF files or any other. Or if you want to share your desktop or a specific window, a specific window from your desktop, you could do the screen share. So let's do it. Let's try them all. Let's start with the desktop. So for example, if I click on desktop, it will show me all the screens and application windows I have on my computer. For example, this is a PowerPoint file that I already opened in my window. So if I want to share that one, just click on it and click share, and it will be shared in my screen. If I want to stop sharing, I have a menu button at the bottom. I'm not sure this file is being shared now with you. No, let me click on stop sharing, because I'm not sure you were able to. Okay, so again, I'm gonna click on share and then desktop. Let me see if you're gonna see the windows. Okay, so you're gonna, if I share, because I'm already sharing, so it will not share again. So but I could choose any applications from my computer and share it with my students, and then I could work on that application and the student will be able to see everything. Okay, so this is to share a folder. If I have, as I said, if I have a PowerPoint file that already that I've already tried, this is for an example. Let me try this, maybe if I will be able to share it with you. Now this one, the difference is between sharing a PowerPoint within Microsoft. For example, this is a trivia or like a Jeopardy class, a Jeopardy game that I made before. This is the difference is between choosing a PowerPoint within Meet, that it will present the PowerPoint file within Microsoft Meet. If you share a window from PowerPoint, it will share that file as an application, as a separate application. It's sharing part of your desktop. So, and here, as you can see, this is, for example, just you click on, for example, and then it will show a question. This is just a trivia, and just to show you some of that. The animation works in PowerPoint, and then click on back. So you just like a normal PowerPoint, you could share the file with the students. Okay. So let's stop presenting. Let me show you. So this is basically if you want to share a PowerPoint file directly from within Teams. Okay, final. Let's see how the whiteboard works. So if I want to have a whiteboard to write something for the students, so click on whiteboard, And then as you can see, okay, so just get the app. No, it should start the PowerPoint directly here. Okay, use whiteboard in Teams. Yeah, I don't know. I got the option to download the app. So, and as you can see, I could choose the type of pen, for example, and just write welcome, and then another red, and maybe draw a diagram. Okay, or do some charts. So I could do. Now, what's good about it is that if you want to have more space, just click on the arrows on the menu, and then you could change, moving the whiteboard wherever. And for example, if I want to have more space on the right, on this side, so just keep writing and then it will automatically increase. So let's do it here. For example, if I want to have more space on the top, I'm just going to draw a line, and it will increase on the top. So this one increased on this side. If I want to get more space on the left side, maybe, or the bottom of so let me go to the bottom of the screen, and then maybe I'll just draw a line to the bottom, and then as you can see, the whiteboard will increase it to as much as space as I need. And then after that, you could save, export the image of that whiteboard. Whatever you did, you could just save it. Okay, so let's stop presenting. When you're done, you just click on stop presenting, and that's it. So this is how you could present with your students. Now, so this is how you could share and how could now yeah, now we have in terms of questions. If students have questions, as I said, you could look into the question in the chat menu, or when they raise their hand, you will have a notification. You will have like a yellow dot appearing at the hand signals or at the participant signal to show you that someone has raised their hand. And then when you go to the list of participants, you will see the name of the attendees which have questions. You could maybe click on them and let them, or give them the permission to speak in the class, and then hear their questions about it. Okay, the last thing is, how do you take your attendees? It's with this download menus, the download arrow. If you can see the arrow at the top, at that people section, you have to show the participant. So if this is your screen, you have to click on show participant, and then you click at the arrow. There's an X arrow to close the participant window, and then there's a download attendance list. This is basically will download a list of everyone that has signed in the class, the time they signed in, and even give you some details information. And it will be in an Excel file, and this will be downloaded in your file section. So you'll be able to check that and see who attended the class and who didn't. So you'll be able to do that as well. Okay, now during the sections, during the class, you could manage the permission that you have for the if you want to change the settings of the meetings. For example, let me go back. I just clicked it without mentioning it. So if I'm in the meeting now and I want to change the settings of this meetings, I can just click on the yes and on the check and X button here next to the download, and then this will open another window for me, and this have some meeting options. You could have a lobby, for example, for people to wait, just like in Zoom, for people who sign in. By default, people bypass the lobby, especially people in the organization, but people from outside, because you could invite guests from outside Kuwait universities. as part of your meeting, but they would have to wait in a lobby or like a waiting area, and then you have to give them permission to join into the team. But if you want everyone to stay in the lobby, or if you want everyone to bypass the lobby, you could choose your options from here. This is related to the lobby. Who can present? This is if you don't want any of the students have the option to share their files. So you could specify like only specific people. So you could specify exactly who can present, who can have the role of presenter in this meeting. So you could specify that as well, or only me if you want to make sure if you're not planning for anyone else to present or share their screens during a class, you can just set it to only you, and then nobody else would have the options to share the screen while you are presenting, even by mistake. So nobody else would be able to do that. So, and we click save. That's done, then we click. So you could change the settings of the meeting directly through the while you're taking the meeting. Now, as I said, if I want to leave the meeting, the options I have is to click on hang up. And as I said, if there are other students in the class and I click on hang up, I'm the only one who would leaving, but the other student will continue being in the class. But if I click on more option and then click end meeting, and that's what I will do now, it will show you a message here. In the meeting, you will end the meeting for everyone. So click end, and the meeting is over. And now we will go back to the main room, to the team room, to the post. And it will even ask you how was the call quality, and you could just rate it, and this would help Microsoft to develop and improve in their. So this is basically, and you could send the feedback or dismiss, whatever you want to do. Okay, so this is basically how you could present in your class. Let me stop here. It took us like 1 hour. I think I covered everything that we want to cover today. As I said, this is the basic features. It's just some of the features within Microsoft Meet, just to help you start preparing your classes, creating first your classes, preparing, uploading all your files and materials, and maybe to try to have some lectures, online lectures with your students to see how it feels working with Microsoft Teams. So with this, I think because our time, we already passed 1 hour. Let me see. So now let me go back. You have the option to ask a question. So let me look into the questions, and I'll read them because I should receive all the questions. Will KU load up our courses? Dr. Talal Al-Hajji is asking, will KU load up our courses and students name list, or we have to do that ourselves? For the time being, I think we have to do them ourselves. So far, we've been hearing that Kuwait University is working with Microsoft maybe to automatically load our classes and the students and the classes directly into our Meet account, but they haven't done this so far. So we don't know. We heard that they're planning to do that, just like in Blackboard. Blackboard, if you go into Blackboard, and you will see your classes and all the students' name listed in class in that class. But so far we haven't heard of them. We know they're trying to work on it, but I don't know how far they got with that. Okay. I have an anonymous question. I don't have the button to create a team. Do TAs, everyone should have that features. Let's go back to the main screen again. Everyone should have that feature. So if you click on Teams, if you're on the main window, when you sign in to Teams for the first time, if you are not signed in any Teams, if you signed in Teams, this is what you will get. Or click on the button at the top right hand, join or create team. Click on that, and here you will have the option to create or join a team. You have two options. So click on create team, and then you could choose what type of team you should. Everyone should have that option, but maybe it's not the location of it. It's on the top right. It's not maybe very obvious for people to see that they could create their teams from that button. So join or create team, it's located at the top right hand under your picture or name at the top right hand side. Okay, so I think this would do. I don't have the button. Okay, I have another question, please. Okay, anonymous. Can you duplicate a class like a Google Classroom? Yes, you do. It's however, I haven't, as I said, this is kind of basic, but you could create a team class from a template. So let's go back and see how we could do that very quickly. But I haven't tried it, to be honest, Jenny, but I know it's possible. Let's go to the team window. So, okay. So when you go to join or create a class, create a team, we'll click on create a team. I'm going to choose create a class. Now you can see there's like a fine line, like a link, a tiny link at the bottom said create a team using an existing team as a template. So if I click on this, it would ask you which team that you want to use to create. Now this option is very helpful because if I have different sections of the same class, so if I'm teaching 131 but I have 1 or 2 or 3 sections, if I have two or three sections, so maybe the best practice or the best way to do that is to create one class, add all your materials, add everything, prepare that class, make it perfect, and then just duplicate that class. Again, let me show you the steps again. So let's go back. So cancel, let's go to cancel. So I'm going to start from the beginning. So if we are here at the join or create teams, I click on create, choose the type of team that I want for. So if this is a class, and then instead of adding the name of the team, there is a link. It says create a team using an existing team as a template. So I click on that, and then I'll choose the team that I want to duplicate, and then choose a team, and then it gives you the option of what types of information that you want to copy. So tabs, team settings, apps, whatever you want to copy, and you could name it. So this is, for example, a different section. So for example, this is maybe 5.6, and the other one maybe is 4.5.4, whatever. And then click create. And this one, I will have a new team created by duplicating instead of. It will ask me, of course, to add the student or teacher's name. I'll just skip that. And then here is the new team. So if I go out to my main page, so this team was basically a copy from this team. So this is how we could duplicate or create a team. So this answered Dr. Talal Benai. Okay, will students be receiving the link to join a meeting in their emails like in Google? This is now how would the student either receive the email or receive the code? This is a way of the instructor to contact their students. So it's up to the instructor whether, if you're using MyU, for example, if you know the students' emails, it's a way if you want to share it on WhatsApp. But keep in mind that whoever gets that code, they'll be able to join the class. So you have to compare if the code is being spread or if it's gone to the public domain. Keep in mind that other people might join your team without knowing it, even though I think there's an option to set or to specify that only people within Kuwait University can join in to your classes. But still, maybe other students from other, not new classes could join. So there are students at Kuwait University, they have the account and they might join your classes as well. So you have to check. So when the student join into your class, you have to check and see the list of students that been added to the team and compare them with your roster from the Kuwait from the portal. Okay. Can students do their presentations here? Yes, if you they could share their screens as well. So you could give them the presenter, and this is, as I said, you could specify this permissions or the settings for the meetings, whether you want to allow students to present or not. That by default, student will be able to share their screen and present. So student will be able to control you. You can control the microphone of the student by muting their microphone, but you cannot turn it on. So if it's muted, that's I think that's how it is here in Microsoft Team. In other applications, you could turn it off and on, but I think in Microsoft Team you can only turn it off. And the student, if they want to speak or talk, they have to turn their own mic on. And they have, in terms of camera, they can turn their own camera on, but you can turn it off as well. And you can allow them or not to share their screens with the rest of the class. So the student would be able to share their classes. Okay. We have another questions. My question is, how do you mute and unmute student? Okay, now since I'm doing this only by myself, let me go back to the main screen. Okay, so let's go back to the class. Okay, if I'm gonna join the meeting again, so I'm clicking on the meeting, link again. So this is, for example, for the following week of the following lecture. So I clicked on the same link on the post, and then I'm gonna click on join. So join now. And then when you show the list of participants here, when the list of all the students will be shown here, it will show in front of every student whether their mic is on and off. And there will be a button here, or like the speaker sign up here. It's not showing because there's no one in the class with me. But there's a speaker sound will be or a sign will be here, and you can control whether to turn or to mute all of them at once, or you could click on each individual student to turn to mute them or turn their mic off. So you could either do it individually, clicking on the name of the students, or there would be I think it's going to be up here next to the report or to the managing, and when you click it, it will mute everyone in the class with one click. So that option, it will only appear when there's more than one attendee in the meeting. So this one will show up here. Okay, let's see if we have another question. My question, how do you mute? So we've done that. If there's an option similar to Zoom to see all students at the same time. With the Microsoft, I think with Zoom, you could see up to 16 people at once. In Microsoft Team, I think you can see up to 9 people at once. But there will be an option when there's more than one person in the room. Similarly, again, since I'm only one here, so it will not show. And I think it will show at the upper right corner. I don't remember, to be honest. I've been doing all these tests usually by myself, so I haven't seen this, but I've seen it in one of the videos and one of the trainings. So I think it's, if I'm remembering, it's going to be on the top right corner to give you the option to change how you want to display your screens, and you could be able to see more than one camera at one time. So however, those who don't share their cameras, or they will not appear. So it can only show those who would use their camera. I think that's the option in Microsoft Teams. Okay, Can you save files as draft so that you can post them? Yes, and this is what I said when you create a channel. This is a good question. Let's go back to the window. So let me turn this one off. I'll end the meeting. Oh, actually, before I end the meeting, I told you I'm going to show you how you take the notes for the meeting. So this is basic. This is a very interesting feature. I liked it in Microsoft Teams. When you click on the more menu, the dots, the three more actions, you could create like show meeting notes. This is, for example, so this is like one of the apps that you can use is to create notes for your meetings. So for example, let it just download for a bit. And then, so for example, and you can have them in different topics. So for this first topic, for example, I'm going to say the presenter, and then I'm going to write my name here. Then I'm going to add another topic, for example. This would be another section, and this would be, for example, the objectives of this meetings. Okay. And then I could add the information here. I could add them, and you can see you have like the formatting settings here, so it's very nice. So I could have a number links, for example, objective 1, and then 2, maybe objective 2, and then 3 and 4, whatever. And then maybe you have some resources that you have discussed or examples. And this is something that the student would be able to view even after the meeting. So this would be stored with the recording of the meeting. So for examples that maybe have been shared within the class. So for example, we have a case study that we have discussed, and then maybe some of the resources that you used for this lesson. You could have a section for resources, for example, and okay, so resources. And you could, for example, say, for example, chapter 2 from the book, for example, and maybe you write an article or resource or whatever. You could add whatever resources. Now this is as notes. When we end the meeting, I'm going to show you where this will end up. So when we end the meeting, and now we haven't recorded this meeting, the ones we've done, so they will not show the recording of this meeting. So the notes will show here, and you can see at one of the tabs that would be added to your classroom is called meeting notes, and there's a new next to it. So this has been created because we use this option during the meeting. And when I click on it, either from the post directly or at the tab, it will show the notes of that meeting. And every time now on this section here, that's right, open this now. So this is, I just clicked on the 3 line, this menu here. And every time you have a new meeting, these will appear next under it. So this is, for example, for today's meeting, just now, the date will appear later on. For your next lesson, your notes will appear under it, and then the following lesson, the same thing. So the notes from the meeting could appear here, and it could be helpful for the students to use as well. Okay. Now, in terms of files, this is what about related to the question of file, whether we can have. That's why I said when you create your general file or channel, that's the channel that everyone will have access. So whatever files I add into the file section or tab, all the student will have access to this file. Now, if I want to add something to this class, but I don't want the student to see it now, maybe I'm preparing, and I could add many things. I could add them in this file sections here, and no one should have access to this file. Now, later on, I could transfer any of the files from this sections onto the other sections. So if I add a file, if I have a file here, and I want to upload it to this section. So when I go to files, here, let's click here, files, and then maybe go to class materials, and then upload files. No, actually not from here. I think, hold on, I think it should. I think either we can copy the link direct, or I did it the other day. I'm just trying to remember whether I did it from here. I think from the post, and then I clicked on attach. Yes, okay. So what you do, if you have, so now I have some files at draft channel, and I want to add them to the general channel. So from posts, I'll go to the attach icon or the attach button, and then I could choose browse teams and channels. So this one would show me all the files that I have within teams. So let's go. Okay, so that's the draft. And since I have nothing here in the draft, but I could see all the files that I have in draft, and then I would upload a copy, and that copy will be uploaded to the general section as well. So this is a way to transfer files from one channel to another channel. We could do that, yes, but it has to be done through post. Maybe there's another way to do it directly from files. I'm not aware of it at the time being, maybe through the link, maybe, but I have to look. I have to look into that and see how if it's possible to do that one. Okay. I hope this answered the question. Let's look at the next question. The next question is, so this is about the file. Can you use Microsoft Teams? Okay, where is it? Can I use Microsoft to allow students to present PowerPoint presentation? Yes, the same thing that the presenter would present their PowerPoint, the student would be able to do that. So as soon as they join into the class, and then as soon as they join the virtual lesson, they would see the option of sharing a file or a folder in their screen. And then after getting the permission from the instructor, they would be able to share their file with the rest of the class. So it's possible. Can students submit assignments to me through Microsoft Teams? Yes, but we will not discuss today, because there's a lot of very advanced features in terms of assignment and quizzes and tests. We're leaving this for the next level of workshops for Microsoft Teams. So it's possible for students at the time being. As I said, we're trying to focus on letting the faculty members knows how to create their classes and upload their materials. But yes, it's possible if you have a file or an assignment paper that you want to send to the student, it would be possible to send you only have to do one copy of that paper, and then the program will duplicate these copies to the student, and the student would be able to submit the assignment back to the instructor, and the instructor will be able to grade them and send their grade back to the students. All done automatically through the system. So it's possible, but the instruction or demonstration for this would be in the next workshop. That's part of the advanced level. Okay, thank you. No, thank you all for being here. My question, how do you mute? We've seen this one. How do you mute? I think I answered this one related to the muting and unmuting student. No, each class, Dr. Samir is asking, so each class should have its own team. So let's go back. I think I understand your question, Dr. Samir. Dr. Samir is asking, should we add our courses under DISt or in a separate place? I think that's what he means. So let me go back to the Meet page. Okay. So when I click on Meet, so this is the DISt team. This is not a classroom. This is like a staff virtual meeting room for our department. So, but for each class, we have to create a separate team. So a separate icon would appear for each of these classes, and these will be under the faculty name. So this is now I'm in this page in team, it's under my account. So currently I have 6 teams. This is the department team, the DISt. This is the distance learning committee team. This is a test class that I've been playing with. This is one of the classes I've been trying some of the Arabic features in the Microsoft Teams, and it works very nice. And these 2 which I've created during the demonstration. So for each one of these classes, I have to create a separate team. The way we do it, as I said, we go to the top right section of the screen and just click on, we have the join and create team icons or buttons up there, and then I would create, I click on create team button and then choose, if basically most of us will do these for classes, so we'll click on class and then just go through the procedure and then add our files and folders into and prepare our sections, and then we could conduct the live lessons, the live sessions with the students as well. So for each class, yes, for each class it should have its own team, created its own team. Okay, so let's click on cancel. I don't want to create another one. Let me see if there's any other questions as well. Okay, I think. Okay, I have, should the instructor be using a computer? Okay, I think, thank you. Okay, I think my screen kind of, okay, now it's working. Okay, can students submit assignment to me through Teams, reports, or what? Yes, I think we answered this. Can you save files as drafts? So that I think I answered this. Can students submit assignments? Dr. Okay, that's what Dr. Samir. Okay, will Teams allow us to prepare a presentation from scratch, slide with us, create and save it, and then post them? Yes, one of the features in Teams is that you can create files from scratch in Teams. Yes, you could do that. Let me go back and show that very quickly. And when we click on Teams, let me go to the team again. So let me get into, okay, so when I click on files, and for example, I want to prepare a presentation from scratch in the slide section, for example. So when I click on new, I have the option to choose like a new Word document, a new Excel document, a new PowerPoint document, a new OneNote, a new form. I have the option to create files from scratch directly from here. So I don't have to go and open PowerPoint and then upload the files or the Word document and upload the files. I do have the option to do it directly. So if I want to create a new presentation, for example, I just could go to the place where I want to save that file and then choose a new and then choose that type of file. It would ask me to, so let's say this is 131, that's 141, week 1, for example, slides. So that's the name of the file that I've created. And now you can see I'm working within team. I haven't left team. You can see that I still have the buttons. So and I'll be able to create and work with PowerPoint. So let's say add a title, just write week 1. Okay, let's do this, for example, nation and society. Formation, the T is missing. And you could do all the features of the PowerPoints, are most of them, I would say, are available here. You could have your themes, design, whatever you want to do, you could do directly from here, and that file would be saved when I'm done. Just click on close. and you can see if I go back again to class materials, slides, I would see the files is already in here. So you could create a Word, PowerPoint, whatever file type, Excel, Microsoft files basically. You can create them directly from Teams and then share them with the students directly. So you don't have to, it's simplify, shorten the steps for you to do that. Okay, so that's, thank you. Okay, for answering. My table هذا we answered to create files from scratch. Dr. Talal, will you load? I think I answered this one. I don't know if I'm repeating the question again, but Dr. Salat, yeah, he's replying. Thanks. You're welcome, Dr. Should the instructor be using a computer or laptop for a live meeting, or can I start through my phone or iPad? I prefer a computer, to be honest. A live meeting, you could start it with a student, yes, but live stream, you cannot. So live meeting, I think it's possible. We've done it before, even for our meeting the class. I know some of the faculty members joined using their mobile phones. So I think it's possible, but however, the control through the phones and the laptops, I think it's much difficult. I'm at least for me, it's not. I prefer to using a laptop. So, but I think it's possible. You could manage if you have a problem with your computer. The other day, even with the committee meeting, I was joining using the computer, and then my computer froze. So I switched to the mobile phone directly, and I joined the meeting. Within less than a minute, I was able to join the meeting again. So it is possible to use the phone. However, I prefer to use the computer. So that question was من أستاذ حياة. Will it be possible? Do we have another question, anonymous? Will it be possible for us to access the recording of this? Yes, this workshop has been recorded, so we are supposed to have, but it will take a while. So after we end it, we're supposed to get a video file of that recording, and we would be able to share that with you all. So hopefully, yes, inshallah, we will be able to do that. I think this is the last question I have, unless if anyone have a question, and we finished right on time at 7:30 to 9. So unless anyone else have a questions regarding team, I apologize if I skipped any questions by mistake. I'm kind of trying to go through all the questions. So please let me know if there's anything. I don't see any other questions. So with this, I would like to thank you all again for attending and coming to this live sessions. I know it might not be convenient to only listen and not participate by with voice, but we thought we wanted to minimize the process of letting the faculty members joining into this lesson. The only reason we had to send you this link is because this is a public lesson. Anyone with the link would be able to come and join. So we wanted to make it easier in the future. Maybe for the next workshop, it would be more kind of interactive, and we will see. In the committee, we will work on this and see how the next workshop will go, and the topic that we will cover in the next workshop. So thank you all for coming today and attending this session. I hope it was helpful and useful. And if there's any question, please feel free to contact الوحدة, the unit of information technology, الدكتور ريهام, مهندسة فاطمة, مهندس عبد الله. They are very they would be very happy to help in any way. They started WhatsApp number, and they have YouTube, Twitter account as well. It's all been established to answer and help in any technical issues any faculty member that might have. So if anyone have any question, feel free to contact وحدة تكنولوجيا المعلومات, and then inshallah we'll be very happy to help you with any issues that you have. So thank you very much, and I wish you all luck inshallah, and we'll see you inshallah in a live situations in the future as well. Thank you very much for coming today.